Okay, hi and Assalamualaikum. We are from Group 2. We present about production of dairy milk in Dutch Lady at Selangor. Okay, my name is Nur Nabila binti Ramli. My student ID is 2020839386 and that is my group member.
My name is Hamzat Radra binti Abu Hanifa 2020620024.
Hi, my name is Nur Shafawati binti Muhammad Hazir and my student ID is 2020820434.
My name is Fatin Fatiha binti Muhammad, no student 2020469532.
My name is Nur Ainsha Mimi binti Hambali. My student number is 2020494416.
Problem statement. First, the company is facing problem in handling large production of milk quantity. It is because the farms of suffer from diseases such as anemia and cannot produce fresh milk. When anemia is severe, product can be impaired. So, second, company find it difficult to get information about which employer are responsible for the production of each product because their database lack information about these employers. It's difficult for the company to monitor each these employer activity over time. Lastly, company receive complaint from customer about the production that they receive. The tester product that they bought was so bad but not expired. It is because the milk that has been expressed is stored for a long time before being processed in the factory, so that the tendency of the milk to be spoiled before the expiry date increase. Objective problem. First, we recommend that rather give all farm a vaccine injection to prevent any disease. It can also provide enough protein, copper, cobalt, or selenium to all cows to produce more and fresh milk. Second, we suggest that for each task or job, the employer was assigned in a different table. We create a overload schedule between each job so that we can find out the employer can work or perform both tasks and can provide different output each time. Third, we suggest manager need to ensure the employer deliver the milk to the factory within the stipulated time. Employer must record their name, that duty on that day, so that management will know who take over the deliver the milk to factory at that time. Database objective. First, improvement program. At a very level of our organization, various focused improvement programs are implemented to eliminate energy waste. Second, safety is our number one priority. Safety and quality continue to be a priority in our operation, ensuring engaged and well cared for employer and high quality products. Third, energy, water and waste management. Various water recycling improvement projects were undertaken at production plant. We use natural gas in our manufacturing operation where the consumption and trend of usage is continuously monitored. We believe all these efforts contribute to a cleaner and greener environment.
Now, I will explain about relational entity diagram. So, as shown above, this is ERD for production of dairy milk in Dutch Lady. Okay, first I will explain relationship between farm and employee. So the business rule is each farm is worked by many employees and each employee can be worked in many farms. This shown it was many-to-many relationship. Since we cannot implement many-to-many relationship in relational database management system, we need to resolve the multi-value attribute problem by creating new entities that compose multi-value attribute component. So work is the new entity that we create for many-to-many relationship as shown as above. So now it's become one-to-many relationship. Lastly, the relationship strength is strong because primary key related to entity that contains primary key of another entity. Next is employee to fooder item. Based on the business rule, each employee is assigned to one or many fooder and each fooder has assigned by one and only one employee. So it was many to one relationship and also it has foreign key and entity fooder which is employee ID. So this shown that it was weak relationship strength. Next one is employee to cow. Based on the business rule, it has many to many relationship which is each employee handle one or many cow and each cow is handled by one and only one employee. This relationship strength also weak because primary key of employee have in the cow entity. Next is farm to cow and fooder to cow. Based on the business rule, each farm live by one or many cow and each cow live in one and only one farm. So it was one to many relationship and also it has foreign key in entity cow which is farm number. So this shown it also have weak relationship strong and we use dotted line. Next is fooder to cow. It also one to many relationship and relationship strength also weak because it has foreign key in entity cow which is food number. So the business rule for fooder to cow is each fooder feed one or many cow and each cow feed by one and only one fooder. And lastly is cow to product. Based on the business rule, each cow can produce one or many product and each product produced by one and only one cow. It was one to many relationship and also it has foreign key in entity product which is cow ID. And the relationship strength also weak, so we use dotted line to draw it.
For data dictionary, in employee table, the primary key is employee ID. In farm table, it has primary key which is farm number and foreign key is employee ID referred to employee table. The fooder table, the primary key is food number and foreign key is employee ID referred to employee table. For work table, it have primary key farm number and employee ID with foreign key farm number referred to farm table and foreign key employee ID referred to employee table. The cow table with primary key is cow ID. The foreign key is food number referred to fooder table. Foreign key farm number referred to farm table and foreign key employee ID referred to employee table. For table product, the primary key is product code and foreign key is cow ID referred to cow table. The first thing in DDL is we need to create database dairy. Next, we use dairy. On this database, we have 6 tables. In each table, we have attributes, data type, and constraint. First, employee table. We need to create table employee, which is employee ID numeric 10 not null unique, employee last name varchar 15 not null, employee first name varchar 15 not null, employee job varchar 15, employee age numeric 3 not null, employee phone varchar 20 not null, employee hire date, and the primary key employee ID. For farm table, we create table farm number numeric 10 not null unique, employee ID numeric 10 not null, farm capacity numeric 2 not null, farm size numeric 6 for default 0.0 not null, farm description varchar 30, primary key farm number, foreign key employee ID references employee ID. For fooder table, we create table fooder, food number numeric 10 not null unique, employee ID numeric 10, food quantity numeric 10 not null, food expiry date, food price numeric 4 to default 0.0 not null, food weight numeric 4 to default 0.0 not null, primary key food number, foreign key employee ID references employee ID. For work table, we create table work, farm number numeric 10 not null, employee ID numeric 10 not null, work time numeric 42 not null, work date date, work type varchar 50 not null, constraint PK work primary key, farm number, employee ID, constraint FK work farm foreign key, farm number, references farm number, constraint FK work employee, foreign key employee ID, references employee ID. For cow table, create table cow, cow ID integer not null unique, food number numeric 10 not null, farm number numeric 10 not null, employee ID numeric 10 not null, cow age numeric 4, cow gender varchar 10, cow breed varchar 30, cow weight numeric 4 to default 0.0 not null, primary key cow ID, foreign key food number references fooder food number, foreign key farm number references farm number, foreign key employee ID references employee ID. For table product, create table product code integer not null, cow ID integer not null, product name varchar 15 not null, product date, product expiry date, product quantity numeric 4, primary key product code, foreign key cow ID references cow ID.
Okay, next we move to simple query. Okay, the first question for simple query is list the name of employee and employee identification number that is assigned to cow in farm number 5. Okay, so from the question we know that the table included in this question is table employee and a table cow. Okay, so the first thing first that we need to do is select listings employee name, first name and employee last name. This is because at employee number has at employee table has employee first name and employee last name. Okay, and then we select employee ID from employee table. Okay, from employee and cow, where employee ID is equal to employee ID at employee table is equal to employee ID at cow table. And then we need to look at the question back. It say that assigned to cow in farm number 5. So and farm number is equal to 5. So we run. Okay, so the answer is employee first name Fatin and employee last name Fatiha, employee ID 77500. That is for question number 1. Okay, next we move to question simple query for number 2. Okay, the question is list the product code, product name, product produce date that expired before November 2022. Okay, it shows that we need to list 3 product code, product name and product produce date. So we need to select product code, product name and product expired from product table, where a product expired is 2020 November 2020. So we write as 2020 month of November and first of November, first day. And then if we run, we will get product code, product name and product expired. This is a product code. We have 3 product that expired before November 2022. Okay, next we move to column function and grouping. So for the question number 1 is show the food number and the minimum and maximum cow weight for each food. Use alias min and max for the calculated column. Okay, the question wants us to show the food number, so we select food number and use alias min and max for minimum and maximum cow weight for each food. And then we write min in bracket cow weight as minimum, max in bracket cow weight as maximum from cow. This is because all of our SQL is from cow table only and group by food number. So let's run. We will get So here the answer. Food number, minimum and maximum. Okay, next we move to column function and grouping for number 2, for question number 2. Okay, the question is, manager want a list of total employees that work as fooder, where is their age is more than 30 years old. Group the results by farm number and farm of the employee. Okay, the question wants a list of total employee that work as fooder. So we select food number, count as number employee from employee table, and we label it as a E, and from fooder table we label it as a F, where employee ID from employee table is equal to employee ID from fooder table, and employee age from employee ID is more than 30, because the question said that their age, which is employee age, is more than 30 years old. So we group by food number, because the question asks us to group the result by farm number and number of employee, and then if we run, we will get, here is the answer, food number and number of employee that number of employee. That's all.
Okay, next, joint query. The first question is, list the cow breed and food quantity that they eat every day. Order the result by food quantity. First, select cow breed and food quantity from cow and fooder table, where food number, which is foreign key in the cow, equal to food number in which is primary key in the fooder table. Okay, and then order by food quantity, because we want the data list by the food quantity. Okay, we run and we get cow breed and food quantity. So food quantity is the order, which is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 and 10. Okay, next, question 2. Produce a report that lists employee ID, employee last name and first name, employee hire date, list data for only work type between cleaning and washing, and exclude employee number 27598 from the list. Sequence the report on the first name within last name, within employee hire date, and within employee ID. Okay, we select employee ID from employee table, employee last name, and employee hire date from employee table and work table, where employee ID, which is primary key from employee table, equal to employee ID, which is foreign key in the work table, and work type in the work table, which is in cleaning and washing, because we want to select the work type between cleaning and washing, and employee ID from employee table, which is the employee ID is 27598, and order by employee ID in the employee table, employee hire date in the employee table, employee first name and employee last name. So we run and we get employee ID, employee last name, employee first name, employee last name, and employee hire date. So the data has 5, and this is in the order. Okay, question 3. List the product name and expired date of the product that was produced by cowbreed brown cyst cutter and short by the expired date. Okay, first we select product name, product expired, and cow brief from the cow table and product table, where cow ID from product table, which is foreign key, equal to cow ID in the cow table, which is primary key, and cow breed equal to brown cyst cutter, because we want cow that from brown cyst cutter, order by product expired. So we run, and we get 3 product name that from the cow that from the brief brown cyst cutter. So order by expired date, which is 2/12/2022, 29/4/2023, 1/5/2023. Next, which is lastly, is sub-querying. Okay, first question is list all employee ID, employee last name, cow age, and total product quantity, where the total product quantity greater than minimum of product quantity. Okay, we select employee ID from employee table, employee last name, cow ID from cow table, cow age, and some product quantity, because we want to know total product quantity. Okay, from employee table, cow table, and product table, where employee ID, which is primary key from employee table, equal to employee ID, which is foreign key from cow table, and cow ID, which is primary key from cow table, equal to cow ID from which is foreign key from product table. Group by employee ID from employee table, employee last name, and cow age. Having some product quantity greater than, because the question is they want to the total product quantity is greater than minimum, so greater than, so we must select again minimum product quantity from product. So we run, and we get, wait a second, and we get employee ID, employee last name, cow ID, cow age, and some product quantity. Next, question 2. Manager needs a list of employee first name, ID of employee that age is more than average of employee. The list should select only employee that was hired before 2018. So we select employee first name, employee ID from employee, and then where employee age is greater than, and then we must select again average employee age from employee, where employee hire date is less than 1st January 2018, because we want to select employee that hire date is before 2018. So we run, then we get it has 4 employees that the hire date is before 2018, which is Muhammad, Hussein, Choi, and Ramla.
In the conclusion, this project is designed to meet the requirement of the system, which is able to meet the objective. Therefore, we have developed a database management system that can store a lot of data for this firm that can be accessed by the employer. The system is a significant improvement to replace the existing current system, which is carried out manually. In addition, all the information is done manually and it will be difficult for the staff to find information in a short time. Besides, a manually system will increase the probability of missing the data and chance of making a mistake as such overlooking data or entering wrong information. Because of that, it will be difficult for the staff and they will be busy, especially when there is a lot of mail that be processed and delivered. As you can see, the computerized system will provide better service for the staff. The implementation of this project has done to the integrity of data stored in the system and eliminate data redundancy. Last but not least, in designing the system, we have used ERD, and have created the database system using IBM. At the completion of this project, production of Dairy Milk Dash Lady at Selangor has fully met the objective. We have overcome all the problems that occur in an existing system. By using this system, we hope that it can work more efficient and effectively to generate the registration for this company. Alright, I think that's all for us for the presentation of our project. I hope all the information we have provided is enough to explain and provide information about the program we do. So that's all for us. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.